Welcome to the Nerds Who Swing podcast. My name is Miller.
Margot.
You can find us everywhere where you would find a normal podcast.
Search Nerds Who Swing on
Facebook. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Pinterest. You can find us on SoundCloud. You can find us on YouTube.
We are so many places.
Or even on iTunes. That's probably where you found this one. And then the most important one is you can find us on Patreon.com, where if you want to just give us $1 or $2 to help just pay for hosting our website and our podcast.
Oh, that would be so nice of people.
I know,
Can you
right?
imagine if they did that?
There might even be bonuses eventually.
Bonuses?
Yeah.
Sexy bonuses?
No, lame bonuses.
Oh,
you
good.
could do our taxes.
Lame bonuses. Bonuses including.
That's right. And then you can also, we have a contest with every episode where if you want to be in our logo.
Yeah. Did you see our logo? Can you see it? Pull it up. Do you see our super sexy logo?
That's right.
Is it me right now?
It is right now.
It's me right now. That's me, folks. But maybe that could be you.
That's right.
Which would be super hot.
Send us your picture.
Send us a picture.
Any one of these.
No faces?
No faces.
No faces. Not that your face isn't sexy, but, other sexy business.
Also, no penises unless there's also a vagina there.
Because who wants a penis?
Yeah. Just saying. Yeah, that's 50% of the vote. I'm not voting for that. Yeah.
Anyway, send us in your pictures if you want to.
You can be the background of the Nerds Who Swing logo.
Can you imagine your body, your sexy, sexy bod as the background of our logo?
Damn, Margot.
So hot.
Yeah. Anyway.
I like it. Okay, we're Nerds Who Swing.
That's right. Margot, Miller, enjoy the episode.
Because I thought, how to swing.
Mm-hmm.
Step 1, talk to your partner about it and make sure everybody's on the same page. And then, but step 2 is, we're maybe talking about your stuff. We've already done this, talking about what you're interested in, what you're not.
Yeah.
And then, the next thing is, how do you meet people?
Okay, so let's talk about that.
Right now?
Right now.
Okay.
How do you meet people,
Cut.
Margot?
Okay.
Welcome to swinging tonight last week? No. Swinging.
Oh, his
last
brain
week
is working so hard.
Swinging last week tonight with
He made it.
Miller Oliver.
Did you hear how
But
hard
first,
that was?
a quick recap of the week.
Okay. You did it. I'm so proud.
I'll edit that down so it seems a lot smaller.
I've
had 3 shots and yeah.
we got all limbered up today,
yeah.
folks. Okay. We were going to talk about today. So we've established that you're into swinging. Listeners, not us.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not.
Well,
we're not.
We've established.
This is the episode where we come out that we've never done before.
Yeah,
this is all made up.
Surprise!
Yeah.
You've talked to your partner. Everybody's on the same page. Now you want to meet people. Mm-hmm. So, how the hell do you go about meeting people? That is today's topic.
On
no, don't do it again.
With
nope. Nope. Nerds Who Swing.
Nerds Who Swing.
There
that's
you go.
right.
That's what we're called. Okay, how do we go about meeting people? Go. Name away.
I don't know. How do we? No, I'm just kidding.
We've met no one.
Yeah. We're having problems meeting.
If you could send in your tips.
Yeah.
No, we're
so
not really having a problem.
No, so the first way we met people was that we went to a club.
Yes, I would say a very good first step would be literally to Google what is in your area.
Right. For
some smaller places won't, maybe if you live in a smaller town, you may not have those options, but maybe you have to plan a little road trip or a weekend away or something like that and see what clubs are in your area.
Right.
Search swinger club.
Or
search lifestyle club.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, sex club kind of, I guess. You have to be careful, read their website, make sure. As well. If you might be a BDSM club, if that's not what you're into, then make sure, just kind of check out their websites and see. And there's usually a lot of info on there, obviously, as to what to kind of expect when you get there.
Right. And so we went to a club first before anything else.
Yep.
Well, we went to 2 clubs first before anything else.
That's true. If you've listened to our other episodes. Yeah, that's right.
But
that doesn't have to be the way that you start.
No, because I remember after we went to the second one, and we didn't really talk to anybody at either club other than our guardian angels at the first one.
Right.
That I remember thinking, well, this would be easier if we knew people before we got here. So we kind of, at that point, went and looked up how to find other people.
Right. I think it's probably a personal preference thing. Like, I'm really glad that we did the club thing first, just us, because it sort of felt like a trial run. I think for me, if we were going on a date with another couple and going to a club for the first time, I think the nerves would be
it could be overwhelming.
Too much for me, but everybody's different.
I think what we did was a good order. I would do one or the other first. Either go meet people out for drinks not at a club first, or go to a club first and then meet people at different times.
I would say it probably depends what your expectations are, or what your hopes are, I guess I should say. Maybe not expectations, but if you're hoping to meet, friends in the lifestyle, or if you're hoping to sort of more randomly hook up with people, right? Because if you're hoping to create sort of a network of friends that you also play with, then the date route is definitely better. Yeah. But how do you go about getting those dates?
Oh, that's a good question, Marta.
Thank you. It was subtle.
Yes, good segue.
Yeah.
So for us, the first place we went when we decided that is we found like a couples dating site.
Right. So are we saying the name?
Yeah, we can say the name.
Okay.
Well, there's a bunch of them.
Okay.
Ours that we used was Adult Friend Finder because in the area we're in, it's the biggest one.
Okay. Not a paid for ad for Adult Friend Finder. That's just what we used. But there are definitely different ones. If you're into it, make profiles on all of them.
Yeah, and they seem to be, from what I've heard and read, that they're very regional. Like, Adult Friend Finder is everywhere in the world, but in certain places in the world, it's the most popular one for people to use. So I know there's other ones. There's one called SDC, and there's one called something else that I can't think of the name of right now.
He's Googling as we speak.
Yeah. I'll put them in the footnotes for the show.
Okay.
Other one. So we went on to ours, and...
So Adult Friend Finder.
Yeah.
AFF, people often refer to it as.
Yeah. So we went on the site, and we signed up because it's a pay site.
Right.
So you have to pay for a subscription. So we just paid for 1 month. And you go on there, and it asks you some questions, and you put pictures in. And then you get to start searching for people in your area.
Right.
And you can pick different search criteria if you have any.
Right.
So you could search by age or gender or whatever.
What kind of thing you're looking for. Yeah. There's sort of, random versus friendship versus dating versus long-term, all that kind of thing. And it's almost exclusively couples, but there could be single people as well. Yeah. So you can put in your age range of, that you're into, and if you're into male-female couples or... just females, just males, just all that kind of stuff you can put in because everybody's different.
Yeah. Yeah. So we were on there first. We used that. And then we had met a couple people through that and chatted with them.
Right.
And then, after that, we kind of started to meet more people, like, just at the club, just chatting at events.
Right.
And then one of the couples that we met on the website with kind of introduced us to like a Facebook group.
I think that's often what will happen is maybe if you're not sure how to go about this, just go and try to chat with people. Go in terms of go to the internet and chat with people, because you'll end up meeting contacts who it's like, oh, well, we host parties. Great. Awesome. So then we can meet people through them. Right. Or we have a group that goes to this club together every so often. Okay, great. We can meet people that way. So then you're not constantly on an app or on a site sort of laying all the groundwork of like, what are you looking for? What are you looking for? Like that can be fun, but it can also be kind of time consuming and ultimately not lead to anywhere sometimes. And there are dudes who troll the site or not just dudes, whatever, people, fake people, whatever. So you eventually should meet in person and make sure that this person is somebody that you're actually interested in. But often contacting people through one platform ends up that you'll meet them in person and then you'll meet other people through them.
Right.
Because, like, we have a group of friends. Mm-hmm. If we meet somebody else, presumably they have a group of friends as well.
Right.
Well, now we can meet all their people and they can meet our people. And, and then your circle kind of grows and you meet more people that way.
Yeah.
But I feel like it seems like sort of a daunting task.
It does.
To newbies to be like, we have to have friends in the lifestyle? How do we meet these people? Like, how is this even going to go? And so I felt that way. For sure, I felt that way.
Me too.
It's not as hard as I was expecting. You just have to be chatty.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to put in some internet and app sort of texting time.
A little bit,
with people.
Yeah. I would say that kind of normal rules of the internet apply with all of this, where there will be people who aren't who they say they are.
Sure.
And once you've kind of done it a little while, you can kind of pick up on a few things. Like, if the profile is for a couple, but there's only pictures of the guy,
it's a bit fishy.
There might not be a lady there.
Right.
Or if there's only one picture of them and that's it.
Yeah.
And the rest of the profile is empty.
I would also say if the picture is overly professional.
Yeah.
And there's no real info, like in terms of what they want, or some different sites and apps have things like, what's your perfect first date, or what's your favorite sexual something, whatever.
Yeah.
There's a few different sort of getting to know you questions, and some are very basic, where it's literally like, do you want ladies? Do you want guys? Do you want threesomes? Do you want soft swap? Do you want whatever? Some of them, it varies, right? But when the whole profile is blank, except there's like a super hot picture of a really like good looking woman in like an overly like professional sort of stock photo looking thing might not be true.
No.
She may not be meeting you for dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I would say for like Facebook, we created a couples profile.
Right.
So instead of using either of our kind of vanilla life profiles, to make sure there was a separation.
Yeah.
And to make sure
I would say most people would want a separation. It's up to the individual person. Maybe you want to have your...
It depends on how much you trust Facebook's security.
Yeah, well, or depending how much you care that your vanilla friends and your family and stuff know about your swinging life.
Yeah.
If you want to keep it very separate, make a separate profile, make it as a couple. That's easier anyways, because then either of you can respond to messages and stuff. And that can be a good way. So once you've Googled your clubs in your area and stuff, you often can request to be added to their Facebook groups.
Right.
And that's a good way to know when they have theme nights or things like that. And then if you meet somebody when you're at the club, you can say, hey, are you on this place's Facebook group? And if they say, yeah, it's an easy way to find each other. Then maybe you start texting or using different apps to communicate back and forth.
Right.
Plan to meet at the club, that kind of thing. That's a good way as well. The website is good too. Everybody's different though. In terms of where they're from. Some people like clubs. Some people don't really like clubs. Some people want to meet before, all that kind of thing. So, but it's a good one of the first few steps, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
we could meet people at the club or wherever.
Yeah, search your clubs in your area and go to them and find their Facebook groups.
Yeah. So, or you can go online and sign up for a website.
Most of them have free trials, we should mention.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, I think
and some of them are paid.
Yeah.
That's totally up to your preference. I would say that you definitely can have success on them. You can also mostly avoid them if you don't want to pay for them. I don't think it's the only way to go. So if you don't want to pay, I think that's
we used ours for like a month or two, I think. And then we just canceled it. Because for us, we didn't really like the kind of... it seemed like there was lots of people to contact, but you had to go through the same questions kind of every time with every person. And it did feel like this is a big job.
Right. It seems sort of time-consuming. Friends of ours call it PR.
Right.
And it's fun, kind of, because it's like, oh, this person's interested in us or whatever. But honestly, when you log in and you have, like, 58 messages by the end of the day, that is a lot of people to try to contact back.
Yeah.
Obviously, you go through and see which ones you're interested in and stuff like that, but that's still a lot of relationships to upkeep. And if you're the type of person who wants exactly that, then great.
Right.
Go to town. You'll be very happy. But if you're more like us, where we only have a certain amount of hours in the day
exactly.
to allocate to any one pastime, let alone this.
Yeah.
It got to be a little overwhelming.
Right.
I think.
Yeah. And then, I mean, Facebook is kind of the third option, but you kind of have to know people or club or something to kind of get into their group first.
Yeah.
A lot of those groups are kind of like closed. You can't just add yourself in. You have to be invited by somebody.
Right. You can request to be added, but they may or may not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about apps?
Excuse me. Sure.
He almost vomited on the computer.
Yeah, apparently.
No. Okay. Do you want me to just go by one with the ones that we have?
Well, let's just talk in general about apps.
Okay.
What they are. We'll do reviews of each one of them maybe later.
All right. So after, so for us, we closed our Adult Friend Finder account after a little while, but there were couples on there that we wanted to continue chatting with or meeting. So obviously email is an easy way to do it because you can make a couple email account and email back and forth that way, which is fine. There are some messenger type apps that are a little more hidden and free. So you're not, paying texting rates, and you're not, maybe if you have, especially if you have like a work phone or something like that you want to keep it a little bit separate. There's a few different apps that you can use for that, and they're very common, very, very, very common in the lifestyle community. So
everybody seems to use kind of these apps instead of normal messaging or text.
Exactly. So you're not requesting a weird thing. It's not like people are going to be like, no, I want your home number, and I want your cell phone number, and nobody does that. Everybody's just like, do you have, are we saying app names?
We could, sure. In our region, Kik is really popular. I don't know if it's everywhere.
It's a free app.
I'm not sure if it's the same as like the websites as far as if it's in this region or not. Or maybe Kik is like, maybe that's universal. Like the swinger app.
Well, I don't know anybody who knows about it. I don't think, that isn't in the lifestyle. But anyways, it's free app to download. And then it's free texting back and forth, and it's not linked to a phone number.
No.
So it's kind of nice, especially if you're meeting like brand new people where maybe you don't have that trust level yet of giving them your number or whatever.
And you can set up nice group chats with each other. So you can have a 4-way group chat. And then you can also set up group chats with up to like 50 people or something like that.
Right.
Which is another thing you can get invited into if you know somebody who has a bunch of friends who are on Kik.
Yeah.
Is that you can get invited into a group.
Groups that maybe meet every so often, or they have party nights together, theme nights together, hotel parties together, and then once you're kind of into that group, you can break off of within those 50 people or whatever. It's kind of hard to, who do I chat with? But if you start connecting with one person or one couple or whatever, you can kind of form your own separate Kik conversation or email conversation or however you do it.
Right. And I think when we first started all of this, we were doing everything like all together. Like we would go on the website together and look up things. And we would check our email together and everything because it's like a new thing.
And it's exciting and it's fun, and we talk about it together, and look at her picture. And, it's like a fun time.
Totally. But now a little bit more, we've like divided up what we do a little bit, where we both still have access to everything, and both of us can check everything anytime we want to. But we kind of split up what we do a little bit.
Yeah, I think so. I seem to take care of the apps and sort of like the meeting new people kind of apps. Like I'm just like, oh, we're meeting a couple from blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And you're like, okay. And you tend to take care of like our current, our Facebook page and our email account and our kind of almost like existing people contacts. And then we have chats that have 4 or 6 or 10 or whatever people in it where we're both in there and we chat whenever. Right. It's also, as a side note, I think it's kind of a fun way to stay connected with your partner throughout the day as well. Because while you might be texting when you guys are both at work or home with kids or whatever you normally do, it's kind of fun to see like a message pop up from one of your lifestyle friends, and then maybe your husband replies to it and you reply to it, and it's just kind of a fun little thing for you to do together but with other people during the day. I find it fun. It doesn't seem as overwhelming as the initial like contacting new people process can sometimes be. It's fun. I don't want to get people wrong, but it is a lot of like, where are you from? Where are you from? What are you looking for? What are you looking for? Where, how long have you been in the lifestyle? How long have you, it's a little bit like it's all important questions and it's good information. It does kind of help you screen people where it's like, they're looking for something that we're not looking for. But it can also be a lot if you're doing that with tons of couples at a time. Like, which one are you? I forget.
Yeah, I know. Good
Where are you from?
With some of these things.
And it's a good thing that you can scroll back.
Yeah,
and
like,
see the history. We already talked about
that. They're from here. Okay.
I remember.
Yeah. So the last way to meet people is kind of like some of the apps like you had mentioned.
Right. Like dating apps, I guess, is what you would call them.
Kind of like the couple's version of Tinder, I guess.
Yeah, although people in the lifestyle do use Tinder as well.
Right.
It seems, this is just what I've heard and my experience, I guess. Tinder's definitely more for singles. You can find people. I think single girls do okay on there because looking for a couple.
Yeah.
But couples looking for other couples can sometimes get some heat.
Oh, okay.
That's just what... Not everybody. I'm sure some people have some success on there. But there are some other ones that are Tinder-like that are basically solely for couples or people, singles looking for couples and stuff like that. Yep. And that goes just a little bit. You don't kind of get any hate from the, I mean, it's the internet-based apps and websites. I mean, there's always a certain amount of crappy people on them and, that kind of thing.
There's
like
bad people on the internet?
Couple ones are just, you're going to meet all of couples. There's no hate there.
Right. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Yeah. So there's apps, websites, and in-person. Those are kind of the three. Are we missing anything? I think the in-person thing, there's different ways too.
Yeah.
So there's like at just going to a club.
Yeah.
Also, parties are different.
Parties to me seem more like an invite thing. I haven't met anybody yet whose first venture into lifestyle was a party, because generally you have to know somebody, and how would you know somebody if you haven't met them online or met them at a club or something? Like how would you just stumble into a house party?
Just going to somebody's house.
Yeah,
that would be awesome. Okay, let's try that. Yeah,
just knock on doors.
I'm just going to somebody's house. Okay, and you play the person whose house I'm at.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, what am I doing?
Just
I don't
answer the door.
I'm having a sex party and I'm coming to the door. I'm busy then. I can't come to the
Ding bong.
Somebody get the door.
Ding bong.
I'm not coming to the door.
You have to go into the door.
No, I'm not.
Oh, I wonder what's going on in here. Let me speak in the window.
That's not how it
Holy cow.
Yeah.
There's people having sex in there, Bill.
Yeah.
You should go in. Bill's my
You're
friend.
with a guy?
Yeah.
That's confusing.
We're missionaries.
Well, that's a whole other situation. I feel like it'd be really annoying to hear me swallow. Can you pick that up when you are recording?
Sometimes I've noticed it. More so when we're drinking wine and it's like later.
We're like, we're drinking wine, everybody.
Yeah.
And it's